Hi, I'm Will, and this is Succinct and Punchy.
Hello.
And this is Freedom Planet. And the first thing I'm going to do is do a frame-perfect input and this fade-out to make the song play incorrectly. Cutscene's playing the wrong music.
Nice. Good.
Perfectly cheery music for the murder scene. I think this is good.
I think this is a very fitting metaphor for the game's general inability to keep a consistent tone throughout its story.
Yeah, I would say that's correct. And then it goes straight into more murder. Always good.
The bugged music even faded out properly. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. That's all intentional. 100%. It's a feature.
That line is so cheesy.
Well, yeah, like he's being all snide, like, "Oh, your floor isn't." Like he's cracking jokes and stuff. And then he murders a guy. And there's like, in a way, there's something fun and amusing about that. But it's all just kind of odd because he relishes being so evil, but it's just a little bit intense.
Yeah, this is a person, a teenage boy presumably, watching his father get murdered in front of him.
Yeah, beheaded, no less.
E10 plus rating, by the way, guys. E10 plus. Oh, if you're wondering, if you're utterly confused as to what's going on right now, don't worry, everyone was. This is like the villain of the game, like taking control over one of the kingdoms in the game to gain power and stuff, and that sort of kicks off the whole events of the video game.
Mind control.
Yeah, because he can do that. It's just there. Why not?
This isn't really established anywhere else that it can do that. It just does that once, even though it probably has other opportunities to do it. So.
And they kind of have to insert this narration here so that we're not completely confused as to what the Kingdom Stone is or why it's important. Because they don't really explain this properly anywhere in the actual game. Basically, there's some magic MacGuffin that everyone draws their energy from, like their power, like their electricity to run their fridges and shit. Energy.
Like, this is like Kingdom Hearts kind of like level of vagueness in terms of a resource.
And this is where the cheery music comes from. If you press the button on the right frame, the game thinks it's on the title screen, so it plays the wrong music.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to hand the controller over to Punchy, who will be playing Lilac
Sick.
On hard.
Yeah, hard mode, because I'm great at this game. Let's rock.
Adventure mode specifically, so we get all the cutscenes, we get to mix story and gameplay.
Cutscenes.
And what a beautiful broth it is.
So it plays this cutscene at the start of Adventure Mode of, as we'll see here, Brevon's ship crashing onto the planet, even though this has to take place before the scene of him taking over the kingdom, so it plays the scenes in the wrong order. Which is great if you're easily confused, but also just sort of chronologically confusing anyway.
And then here's a reuse of a line that gets reused at the end of the game. I'll call it out when it happens.
It gets reused a lot. And then 3 days later, like, that scene you saw at the beginning is kind of supposed to be sandwiched in between these two scenes, but they play in a way... I do not understand this game's narrative structure.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that person's getting shot down, so Brevon's, like, been established and everything.
In the universe, yeah. Also, this is my favourite thing, where our main characters talk to each other, and Carol here will verbally explain Lilac's personality to you by calling her Little Miss Hero Pants, because allowing the characters to speak via their actions is an overrated storytelling technique. Carol speaks for herself, but Carol has to fucking explain how Lilac works.
Well, you know, when you've paid money for voice actors, you gotta use it.
Yeah. Also, this is the actual video game. To explain how Lilac works, because we're playing as her and not one of the other characters, she is kind of the, like, Rocket Knight Rystar-inspired character in the game. She has a double jump on the Cyclone move where she, like, spins around in a circle and shouts Cyclone quite obnoxiously. She has a Dragon Boost move, which is very much like Sparkster's Rocket Boost thing. Also, physics.
Physics. We'll be seeing more of that later.
To collect cards, which do absolutely nothing but unlock stuff in the gallery in the game. Concept art and sounds and shit like that. Also, because I'm playing on hard mode, as you saw, I got shot by one enemy and lost 2 full kettles of life, which is like 4 hits. Hard mode, you take lots of damage from anything. It's interestingly balanced, is the word I would use to describe that.
I think the only other property of hard mode is that health carries between levels, which it did in the original release for all difficulties, if I'm not mistaken, actually.
It did, but that got changed. Hard mode also actually makes some boss patterns more difficult and faster, but I'll point those out as they arrive. Not all bosses are changed, just some.
Yeah, just a couple, I think.
Lilac also has like a dive kick thing, which I've been using, because if you dive kick onto slopes, you do maintain momentum.
Physics!
Yeah, the physics in Freedom Planet are very loose. Like, you may initially be led to believe that this game is like a classic Sonic due to like the general aesthetic and character design of it all. The physics don't function anything like it. The level design is not really anything like it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Freedom Planet's platforming physics and stuff are based around the Sonic Worlds engine, which is this sort of fan-made framework for making Sonic games in Multimedia Fusion 2.
Yeah, but it's been like substantially altered under the hood at this point.
Yeah. Although the nature of Multimedia Fusion 2's use has also been shown to explain some of the other wonderful features of this game.
It's quite buggy, is what we're getting at here. Also, block-pushing puzzles. Everyone loves these in their platform game. And those jump pads are completely useless for Lilac. They're a mechanic exclusive to a different character.
Yep, so if you try jumping on them and see jumps pop out, you'll be very confused, and you'll do it more often, but you'll still have no idea what the point of it is.
Also, the jump pads actually say jump on them in either Chinese or Japanese. They share characters, sue me. So, which is another thing. It's a nice touch, but also is like sort of a visual explanation of what they do that they chose to write in a language that people playing the game probably can't read.
Not like it necessarily needs, you know,
well, no,
much of an explanation, but...
Dude, a mid-boss!
Ah!
It has orbs, you kick them, they break. It's a very simple... It shoots fire at you as it like roams around the stage, and then you kick its head and it dies. Like, it's very easy and quite short.
It runs away.
But where did it go?
It was sad. You heard it. And then we're on to the next part of the level. I mean, this is kind of the more Sonic-ish sort of. I guess it actually reflected in other platformers of the time. Rystar also had kind of a 2-act sort of thing going for it, where you beat a mid-boss and level kind of evolves, or the music changes, various things like that.
It sort of shifts local a bit. We're like in the sort of undergrowth area, I guess. Something like that.
Yeah, more of a jungle-like area rather than the sort of valley.
The game is not explicitly broken into Act 1, Act 2, but like functionally it kind of is.
Yeah, so the levels end up feeling pretty lengthy as a result.
Secrets! There's an arrow on that. You can push it out of the way and it takes you to a secret area.
Yeah.
The levels in Freedom Planet do have this really nice duality of you can play them slowly and like comb the levels for secrets in them lot. Honestly, like in a way, it sort of reminds me, and this isn't just because I've been playing it recently, of like classic Doom level design where you clean out the enemies and then you go hunting for secrets and stuff, or you just barrel through like a maniac.
You even get to pick up keys later and open doors with them.
It's great. Yeah, the level design is very classically inspired, and I quite like it. I feel like the level design is this game's strongest suit. Also, that's a bonus stage token. It triggers a bonus stage. It's explained in the manual that nobody reads. I hate seeing forum threads about that.
Wait, explain. Is there a digital manual?
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that!
No, no one does. I feel like I'm the only person in the world who's read it.
I thought there was only a physical manual that came with the indie box.
These enemies, those enemies that drop the bombs, are sturdy as fuck. You see me kick it 3 times and it's not dying. Lilac's kick actually does an unexpectedly large amount of damage. This is one of those things the game doesn't explain very well, actually, about its mechanics. Different attacks do different amounts of damage. It's not just attacks do damage, because you only see, like, enemies flash when they're hit, so you assume, like, the Cyclone does good damage because it hits many, many times, but it's hitting for, like, no damage, so...
Yeah, exactly. This is what leads people to have some trouble with the game, if they're new to it.
Doesn't explain its mechanics very well, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's really the only area where it really falters.
Also, boulder chase scene. If you try and dodge out of the way of the boulder, as you might quite sensibly do, it spawns a new one. You get an achievement for doing that as well.
That's true.
God knows why.
But yeah, no, the game's heavily focused on kind of these set-piece moments. It has a lot of these sorts of things where you're kind of have an exploration moment, then you get funneled into a set piece, and then you fight a boss.
Yeah, because this transitions into like the boss arena. Rocks fall down, you can hit them, and they drop health, which I suspect most people probably don't know about. And then the snake appears, and if you know where he's going to come from, you can nail all his orbs in like one go.
Mm-hmm.
And also get his head if you're like slightly faster.
And I think this is the only... Wow, nice miss.
Shut up.
I think this is the only boss that actually gets like a revisit after its mid-boss incarnation. I think for most of the levels, I think all of them actually, the mid-bosses are different than their boss.
Yeah, I think it's the only one that I'm bothered out of it. So that's the whole of the first level. It's quite a nice, simple, breezy first level with like a lot of awkward geometry to kind of get you used to the movement mechanics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it as an introductory level. It's nice. It paces the game well. Unfortunately, however, once you beat a level, okay, well, it's a bonus stage first, where they kind of like do the Gunstar Heroes thing, like that one bit of Gunstar Heroes where you throw a dice around. You can get shields from it, which is useful because they carry over between levels. You can also get lives, which is basically worthless, because lives in this game are mostly decorative. But then, cutscenes happen.
You didn't say please.
Where we introduce more characters.
And it doesn't stop here.
Which one of these two do you think is evil based on the way they talk?
I will never know what the motivations of these characters are.
Here he just starts massively screwing a dude up. Like, damn.
He just likes being evil. And then comes one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that one, because he's, like, visibly confused.
Yeah, I think that when the game does a little bit more of a low-key comedy, I think it works relatively well. But then when it tries to do drama, that's where it falters pretty aggressively.
Or tries to sort of, like, develop its characters in any sort of way by having them talk to each other, because it always comes across as really awkward.
Or padding.
And there's Carol, who's, we could say a lot of things about the voice acting in this game. We're probably not going to, because I'm sure you'll take care of that for us in the thread.
Yeah.
Carol's voice acting is really bad. It's bad. It's all kind of bad, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, it's... No. I mean, there are a couple of voice actors that have decent performances, but mostly are just nice to listen to.
I guess. We have different opinions on this. I kind of think it's all a bit shit.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't really think it's particularly high-quality voice acting. I just think that some of the voice actors have nice voices.
Oh yeah, this is the game re-establishing the framework it already established to us, the players, in like 2 cutscenes already. Whereas it's now establishing the framework to them, the protagonists.
Yeah.
Also, they're pretty fast, because, you know, that's the conceit of the game based on Sonic, is going fast. She's got a motorcycle. I like this because, like, Lilac is like intrinsically special because she's a water dragon. Carol's superpower is owns motorbike. I like it. Good.
Yeah, I mean, she's not really fast on foot.
No.
She's really aggressively slow, actually, on foot.
No, yeah, she is, and it's kind of a problem playing as her. Okay, this kind of pisses me off, this scene, because they talk to each other like they know each other already, because they do, canonically, they've had run-ins in the past, but it's backstory that you, the player, are not privy to. The game doesn't explain this or expand upon it. It's just backstory that's just sort of there, but you never get to see it. It's not explained in any side material or the manual or anything like that, so it makes the game feel like I'm reading someone's fanfiction. Like it's based on a series that I haven't seen the source of, but this is the source.
Yeah, and then this is a trend we'll continue to see more of. It's not even like, you know, stuff that's alluded to, which we get a bit of. We get a bit of stuff that's like, that could be expanded upon, but it's kind of like, you know, a mystery. That's just stuff that we don't know about.
This is just stuff that we do not have context for. And it feels like either shit got cut, or it's just... they just chose not to tell us. It's weird. And this is the lead into the next level, which means, well, we have to cut the video here, don't we?
No, we can keep talking.